Hello. Hi to everyone that's tuning in. I am so excited. First of all, I have an amazing guest with me today, a newly published author. When I say excited, I'm super excited. Y'all know, like, author interviews turn me up anyway, but this one right here is some kind of special because this lady is phenomenal. And it amazes me how you can come together through social media. Like, we met on social media, we had a few conversations, and here we are a year and something later with a whole book. Like, it is completely amazing. So I am not going to prolong this. I really want to get into this interview, but if you haven't known, or if you don't know, today we're going to be talking about money. We're going to be talking about how to take you to the money resides, the Make Me Good with Money book, authored by my friend, my coach, just an amazing, phenomenal woman who has pushed this company and myself to a completely new level. She is absolutely amazing. Her energy is amazing. So I'm going to welcome her to this interview. Hello. Hi. Okay.
Hi, woman.
Hello.
Hi, woman.
KArima.
What's up?
Congratulations. I have your book.
No, you said it was thick, right? But yeah.
It is thick. It is thick. It is amazing. Y'all see this? This is it. The Make Me Good with Money book. I'm so excited, and I'm not even going to jump into so much I want to talk about. Because that was not the original name of the book, and I remember the day it was like, no, we got to change the title. So, this has been a journey, and I'm just so excited. So I'm gonna just jump in. And
wait. Before you start, I have a disclaimer. Disclaimer. I am a Caribbean girl. I don't know how many people are familiar with real Caribbean living. So not the hotel seaside thing, but the houses. We have all the windows. And even where there are no windows, there are ventilation blocks. Because a lot of the houses are still, they've been built to capture the sea breeze to stay cool. What that, however, means is soundproofing is not necessarily a thing in the older houses.
Okay.
So you're going to hear the dogs barking, the birds singing, you might hear a sheep buying, you'll hear all the cars passing, somebody may pass playing soca, S-O-C-A, look it up if you don't know, or dance hall. I'm just saying. So be prepared. I'm sorry. There's not much a girl can do. There's no room, not one, not even the bathroom. I looked, I tried, I did. So yeah. that's my disclaimer before we begin.
Amazing. And I think I'm used to it because I hear the noises like in your voice notes, and I'm always going like, is that a rooster? Like, is that what is it? But it's nature. So that's amazing. So for this
life, hashtag island life.
Island life. That is really amazing. I can't wait to visit. Like that. That's amazing. The islands are calling me.
Get here. Okay, and I couldn't go anywhere because we're in the middle of our second wave of COVID. So we're actually on curfew after a certain hour in the evening until in the morning. Everybody's back working from home. Everything is closed again. Yeah. So we didn't have a horrible first wave. We were actually one of the countries with the lowest rates in the world. And then after Easter, I think people went crazy because they were just tired of being at home. And when you try to, like Mustangs, when you try to corral them, you don't take party people and tell them to stay home. They don't work out for too long. So I think everybody kind of lost their minds around Easter. So then the second wave has hit us kind of hard. And our death rate is nothing compared to the bigger countries. I mean, we're some hundreds. But for us, that's a huge amount. Yeah. So as I said, we're back in lockdown. So it's not that I could have gone somewhere quiet either. Everything is closed. It's an interesting time.
We completely understand. And I meant to actually say this in the introduction, that you are officially our first international author. And that is just amazing to me. So mind blowing. So
you're a big girl now, a big girl now.
Yes. Look, I'm not gonna play with you today. Like, we have to talk about this book.
Yes, sorry. Let's focus.
Let's focus. But I just enjoy. I honestly do enjoy your energy. You're so vibrant, and when we first talked about, my or the company's involvement with the book, I was, of course, excited. I can admit a little bit intimidated because I'm a little country girl from Greenville, Mississippi, and I'm talking to someone completely out of the United States about a book. Like, are you serious? So this was a major shift in the destiny for this company. And you brought to us a book that it was completely so unlike any other book, which obviously it needed to be, because we need to talk about money, especially in our culture. And so I know that your book is based on your life's experiences. So just in a nutshell, I know you could probably write a whole nother book about it, but just in a nutshell,
stay tuned. Sorry.
In a nutshell, like how exactly would you say, what were the most intense experiences that brought you to actually writing this book?
Right. Wait, so backstory. My mother is a financial person. So she went to Concordia in Canada. She did business administration. Her first training in banking was in the Canadian Bank of Commerce. And she came back and she started managing bank branches and so on. And so that's what I've known my whole life. She's managing credit unions, she's managing banks, she's a commercial credit officer, whatever, because she likes to explore various things. So she jumps around a lot, right? And yet, I'm telling you, woman's business, she's not going to be happy, but that's all right. And yet, personally, in terms of her financial choices, all over the place. So we have done it all. We've lived at a level where we traveled often. Like, I had a passport at 3 months old and was traveling before I was even baptized. Like, yeah, that's the lifestyle I come from. The condo on the hill over the sea with the pool in the gated community. Probably one of the first on the island, because again, that's not island living. I lived the private school life and all of that. And then we've also done the mommy not working for 10 months because she's overqualified and she doesn't have $2 bills to rub together. And everything in between. Tried to buy a house, lost her down payment. I mean, so many examples. So I saw very quickly, and then listening to her friends as well in the banking sector. And then when I got older and I did insurance for a few months, realizing a lot of the agents, financial shambles. They owe any company, because I don't know how it works there, but here insurance companies and banks will underwrite the debt for their employees because they're there. You're basically just chained to the institution. So you get free overdraft, you get loans at ridiculous low rates, you get, and a lot of people take advantage of those things that seem like benefits, but they end up trapped. So there's so many insurance agents that hate selling, that can't sell anymore, couldn't sell to begin with. But then they took a loan 2 years into their career, or, to get a car or their mortgage or whatever. And they're literally now chained to this company because they're not making the money to pay it off and to live either, right? So, and I did insurance, I was probably around 27-ish, which funny enough coincided with my find myself, do my internal work journey. And then by 30, I had found my niche in social media and interactive marketing. So I was working with corporate that way. I'm not a corporate girl. I've had maybe two corporate jobs in my whole life. I've done the non-government, non-profit thing. So, I've done the events, I've done all those things, but not corporate. But I was working with corporate clients doing their marketing, and made something like $360,000 plus in like 18 months, which in some months was 30 grand a month. And by, let's say, a year after those contracts ended, I had nothing to show for it. So I went from, again, the child in one of the most expensive private schools in the country, where children were coming to school with armed bodyguards. I mean, like, that's the level of child that was coming to our school, all the diplomats' children and that kind of thing, to not being able to pay my rent and having to pack up everything, sell stuff, move in with my mother. Yeah. And I said in 2014, in September 2014 it was, and I said, you know what? I've done something drastically wrong, and it's because there's information I just don't have. There's a rooster. And so I went online and started scouring Kate Northrup money book. Tony Robbins had just put out his very big, thick money book, tedious to read, but interesting. Barbara Stanny. I just started ordering money books online and doing all the courses, a course in miracles around money. You name it, I read it. And notes, I mean, hundreds of pages of notes. Jim Rohn on YouTube. I went deep and wide because, again, I realized there was information I did not have, and it was drastically affecting my potential and my comfort levels and my financial stability. And so from 2014 to 2019, actually June 2019, because I wrote the book June, July, I had all the trial and error around my money, you know, figuring out how to side hustle. And funny, I've always been a girl that has had multiple streams of income because I do a lot of things. So I've always had a job plus contracts plus doing events on the side. I've been that girl. So it's never that I don't have a money, like, I know where the money resides. I did business consulting for a long time, and I was really successful in helping my clients get to the money and also plug holes in their businesses, because money and I, we good. Challenge. Yeah. You want to know where to find money in your life or in your business, call me, set up a money mastery session. But yes, my challenge had been for a long time holding on to it. And again, it's a pattern I learned. We call them generational curses, but really they're patterns of behavior that we learn from observation at very young ages. My pattern that I learned was just, it comes and it goes, right? There are no assets, there's no stability. And so again, by 2019, I had kind of figured that out. You know, I started a business, a very cash intensive business, because I started a restaurant. If you know anything about that business, you know that there's a lot of equipment you have to have, and then you rent. So as I said, I did that cash. I was making like a minimum of 15% on my money returns, recession proof. People kept asking me if I was selling drugs. Because how are you making 15% on your money no matter what the market is doing? Don't worry about it. Not your business. But like, so yeah, and coming back to financial stability and having 5 figures savings and all the things, basically. Mm-hmm. So I poured that all. I was instructed to pour all of that into that thick, gorgeous green thing that you have there.
I'm looking, I'm like 5-figure, like, okay.
It's not that serious. $10,000 is 5 figures. I mean, you know, we hear those numbers, you know, people talk about, oh, make your business a 5-figure business. That's 10 grand, that's 12 grand. Yeah. It's really not that serious. And we also need to start doing that, getting accustomed to, like, most people have never even had $10,000 in one place.
Yeah.
They don't know what it looks like. They don't know how many bills, $100 bills give you $10,000. Right? How many $100 bills give you $10,000?
You're asking me? Don't do that.
100.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah. So, but you understand my point.
Yeah.
So, you know, and those are what they call bands. So, you know, bands to make them dance. Yeah. That's what a band is. A band is $100 bills. You can't be singing people's rap songs and you don't even know what a band is and you've never even seen one. What is we doing? And that's, as you started, we need to start talking about money, but not just talking about it as a random out there concept, but concrete. Again, what does $500 look like? You can lose $500 because it's just there's no substance to it. You can lose $1,000 because it's such a thin stack. You know, again, even $10,000 a band.
Yeah.
And a band is not a big thing. It fits in my jeans back pocket. You know what I'm saying? So we need to have that kind of physical relationship with our money as well. And so, yes, sorry, go ahead.
I like the interview. I'm not gonna say it was a rant, but that's why you threw me out when you asked me, and it was a simple question. I'm like, look, I'm like literally engaged right now. You are speaking to me. Like,
sorry.
I'm literally just infused, because I remember, and I'm sorry, I got a reference because, you're my coach. So, aside from just publishing the book, I've been able to, assess some things. And so I remember, when you gave me the assignment to sit down and look at how much money I needed to live the life. And, the very minimum was 10,000. And you was like, yeah, that's not even enough. And I'm like, oh, okay. But it became so much more realistic because as I began to figure out my containers, which the book talks about, hint, hint. So by the end of this interview, I promise you, like, you'll want this book. So as I began to figure out those containers, and I even went back today and looked at it, and I was like, yeah, I need a little bit more for that. I need a little bit more for that. And just, I can see along the 2 months that I've been, with you just as a student, that everything that you said pretty much concerning money has manifested, and so it's kind of like my limitations have just, they constantly disappear, and so this book it heavily infuses you with a lot of everything that you poured into you. And it's so funny. I heard you say that you wrote the book around June, July, and here we are, literally officially publishing the book in June. Come on. Like, It's not amazing. So I just want to ask you this. At what moment, because you have so much experience and you did the work, and I hear you say that all the time in coaching, I did the work, but you literally did the work. So at what point did you say, this needs to go into another book? Bump the books that I've read myself, but I'm going to put everything that I've learned in a book, and it has to go into a book. At what point was that?
Honestly, I think it was an instruction. I was minding my whole business. Minding my entire business. And 2019 was an interesting year for me. It was a transition year. The same business that I started, I don't believe in not making profit in a business. It's something I have coached people around 4 years. There is always a way to start a business making money in the beginning. If you come to me with a business plan telling me you're not going to break even for 2 or 3 years, I'm going to look at you and ask you, is you dumb? I'm sorry. Yes, I'm not nice. I don't profess to be. I'm very cool, but I'm not nice. Because it's a lie that they have sold us. Again, the banks, it's like mortgages. It's a lie that they've sold us to keep us financing them. The book talks about that. We service loans. Of course, you're providing a kind service to the financial institution that loaned you the money, right? It is not servicing you or your future or your finances. And so once the business started, because we went through a serious recession and the business started just breaking even, ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Especially not when I could take that same money and again turn it over at a minimum of 15%, not per annum, but monthly. Yeah. And it's, again, it wasn't selling drugs, and no, I'm not telling you what it was. So it was legal, I promise. And so that was my thing. So I closed the business I closed the business, and my child was going from elementary into high school. So we don't have middle school here. So there's what we call primary school, which is elementary, and then we have high school. So when you're like between 10 and 12, there's a big exam that you write, and there's a lot of trauma around that exam because, it's the rest of your life and the type of school you'll get into and things. And it's something we need to change, but we're still doing it, throwback from British. And so she wrote the exam, and she, was going off to high school. And so again, I was in all of this transition at the same time. And then I get this message that, you know, you need to do something with all this information. And I said, oh. So I sat down and in 2 months, it was done. It was done. After that, I did some editing based on feedback that I got between like August, September. And then I left it alone for quite a while and then went back to it in 2020. And then we started our process. So not even a lot of tweaking. It just poured out of me, because that's what happens when you are given assignment. It's not about it. And I've told you this in coaching, it comes through you. You are just the vessel, and the cleaner you keep your vessel and the less of the sludge of everything, all the things, the feelings and the stories and the issues, the cleaner you are is the faster that it flows through you and you're used. And so I was used, you know.
Absolutely.
Sorry. I didn't mean to preach. I just my earring fell off. You know you're preaching when you lose your shoes or your earrings. But yes.
Absolutely. I relate. But you said it, and I tell because I do coaching with writers, and you know, one of the things besides getting organized is allowing it to flow. You know, I remember excuse me, when my first book came to me, I was minding my own business, and even argued a little bit, because I'm like, you want me to do what? You want me to write what? Like, you want me to say what? You know, so I relate to that. But your books will literally pour out of you, and you just leave them alone, you know. They'll write themselves. And so that is definitely a confirmation for that part of the journey. So we have your life's experiences, we have the book was written, you got feedback. Every single one of the beta readers absolutely love the book. Some even have copies of the book. I was talking to one yesterday. He actually got his book shipped to a different address, and he was like, you think you can probably take me to go get it? Because I need to kind of start that book tonight. So I was like, yeah, maybe. No, I'm gonna need you to go, you know, let me not do that. But
that is interesting.
So everyone that I know that, you know, at least had the beta copy of it, absolutely was interested in it. And so even my husband, he has his own copy now. We share a lot of stuff, but he has his copy.
Not that book.
Because it's just that serious, and it's very personal. I guess I can give a part of my review. One of the things that I love is you make it personal. These activities, I thought they were kind of like a joke at first, because I'm like, you know, just reading through, and I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta do what? I gotta go clean up. What are you talking? Like, what? You know, so the activities make it real. And I can definitely say that it changes your mindset and it releases a lot of limitations off of your mind. Like I said, just through going through the exercises. And I'm not done, because I sat back as a publisher, as an editor, but now it's time for me to actually come through as a reader. So I'm completely not done. So that being said, and I can, you know, we can talk all day long about what others are saying, but let's talk about what your expectations and what you see. What's your vision for this book? Because it is definitely life transforming.
And literally, that's it. I will tell you my mission. It's funny. I ran into it somewhere recently. Where was I? On either a website, or I had it written somewhere. Lord, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of things this week. But it literally said, my mission is changing generations, freeing generations by freeing one woman at a time. So, of course, in the case of the book, it's not just women, because my coaching revolves around women. And people ask me why all the time. And I say it all the time. I'm just not a man. I don't understand the pressures that men have on them, you know, the perspectives they go through life with, the insecurities that they have as teenagers. But I can speak to women about those things, right? And male-female dynamics and so on. But in terms of the book, everybody uses money, whether you want to or not. You could be the most religious, sit on a mountain type person. At some point, somebody's buying your robes and your malala beads and your food, right? At some point, there is an intersection with money, even if you personally aren't, that keeps your life going the way you want it to. It's just a universal thing. And so, well, and earthwide, it's not universal, but let's not get too, sorry. So, that is, so the point is that it's literally that I'm hoping that with each person I can free, if they break cycles and they break chains, then they free generations to come after them, because those generations are not going to live with those cycles and they're going to have broken those chains. Exactly. And it's just that simple and or that deep. That is literally what it is.
I agree with that, because I can say for myself, it definitely, it gives me that type of vibration. Like, you know, my kids are going to read this book. I may just order their own copy too, but this is part of their summer reading. But I don't know, I want to ask, because I don't know if you've read this or heard this along the way, but I was in another self-development, personal development course, and one of the coaches said that generations of money blocks or money limitations are passed on down to 7 generations. Mm-hmm. Have you like heard that or seen that? Or
so it's something that is said all the time, even in the spiritual community. And when I say the spiritual community, I mean outside of the Abrahamic religions, so Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. It's said all the time that when you heal something, it's healed 7 generations forward and 7 generations back. But my thing is, I like it on a scientific level, because it's all the same. Spirituality is science, science is spirituality, whether we want to realize that or not. I'm really trying to keep things confined here, because you know where my mind goes. And right, so on a DNA level, every action we take repeatedly programs things into our DNA. And I have learned, I have a 14-year-old, well, she's 14 now, from looking at her, that there are things I do, even since she's been born, that have implanted on her DNA. And that's when I realized, oh my God, it's alive. It's the either. It's not, because I always thought prior to that DNA was something that was stamped on you when you were born and then you went on your way. But again, my child has habits and has information that I have gained and picked up since she's been here that she hasn't interacted with. Mm-hmm. DNA is alive. Wow. DNA is alive, right? And nobody can argue with me. And then I started digging, because I like to confirm things. So when I started my digging, all these stories of children who didn't grow up with their parents, didn't know their birth parents, got, you know, adopted at birth and all of that. Mm-hmm. And their father picked up smoking or golf or tennis, mm-hmm. or, you know, got in an accident and had a limp at 40 and they walk funny. Like, yo, it's alive, right? It is alive. And so every piece of information you intake and everything you repeat, which is why the word is such a powerful thing. Every single thing, good or bad, that you repeat, everything you believe, everything that you do is implanted on your bloodline. Mm-hmm. And your ancestors are you. And you are your ancestors, because again, it's one string of DNA that just keeps perpetuating. And so it makes sense, if your ancestors are you, that whatever you do, whatever you learn, whatever you hear, so do they. It is one string. Yeah. And again, it's that simple and that deep.
Simple and deep.
Take it however you want to, you know. You can lose sleep over it, or you could just be like, you know, yeah, and move on. It's that simple or that deep. You choose. So
it is amazing. Just completely amazing. You are completely phenomenal. This I'm not gonna say that because I don't want any other
God took time. God took time. Let's just have a moment of silence and gratitude. God took time. Sorry. Okay.
I was maybe forget my question.
You should have known better than to put me in front of a camera. You should have known. And I'm here thinking, I wanted these people understanding what I'm saying because I'm getting excited and talking too fast. But it's all good. You can replay it. Yep, there you go. Replay it.
Stop it. We may have closed captions or something on it. It's okay. I love the accent, so it's fine. Or maybe I've gotten used to it, so
yes.
I don't know. But either way, one of the things that I want to ask, or another thing that I want to ask, what's your favorite part of the book?
What's my favorite part? So I'm partial to the water, which I've seen other people talk about, because when I got that, everybody uses this term, they got this download. It's so annoying. Sorry. But when I got that revelation, I was just like, oh, Ermagerd. Like,
that's it.
For real?
That
and
is
I'll tell you, it made, no, but for me particularly, it made, so I have this friend who always said I was a Pokemon, right? Don't ask. But my friends are as strange as I am. So I have this friend who insisted for years that I was a Pokemon. And so I asked one day, do I get to choose what kind of Pokemon I am? And he was like, well, yeah, that's fine. And the first, I didn't even have to think about it. I'm a water Pokemon. Like, water is my element.
Yeah.
Right? I have been called a fish for all of my life. Water is my happy place. I could probably bend water if I tried hard enough, but I might freak out myself, so I don't try these things. But so when it made sense because, as I told you, I have never had a money issue. Yeah. Money loves me. Yeah. Money comes from all over the place. And so the fact that water is my happy place and water is my element and money and I are fine, it just, like, it was duh.
Yeah.
It was just duh. Yeah. And so that was what it was. It sat in my spirit because, yes, but as I said, it's not something I sat down and contemplated one day and I'm so amazing. It literally was a revelation. And I was just like, as I said, holy crap. I'm trying not to curse. I curse, sorry. So I'm very proud of myself, pat self on back. And so yeah, because I use curse words as exclamation and flavoring of my verbiage, but I'm doing very well not doing that. Hey, yeah. I want a cookie, Zoe. I want a cookie. So yeah, for me, I think because most people have never thought about money being energy and the imprint that it has energetically. And it also makes it, as one of the reviewers said, so much easier to understand and to demystify. And it's an exercise I love doing when I'm teaching, where I start asking, what are the properties of water? And when we collect them all, I say, okay, now swap it with the word money. And like, I stand there and I watch the minds being blown. I love it. I love watching people just go off into outer space. It makes me happy. Maybe it's a sadistic streak. I'm not saying I have one, but I'm not saying I don't. And so you watch them and their minds go boom. And I'm like, yeah, yes. And they would have the same again, right? So for me, I think that part is really, really very yummy. And it also, again, sets the tone because now, very early on, we've demystified the thing. And you have something very concrete to hold on to as we walk through the process, so I don't lose you.
Yeah.
It's not difficult after that. It's not this weird out there concept that you've always heard people talk about, but it's, the numbers mystify. I don't talk about numbers at all. Well, very little, right? Besides the budget. And there's a reason for that as well. It's not about confusing you. It's not about giving you anxiety. A lot of people have anxiety and trauma when money conversations come up. Just like I have anxiety and trauma when tech conversations come up. Do not give me a remote with all those buttons. Just don't. I mean, just like, I had anxiety around, the whole live online. No, we're not, no. So people have that same anxiety around money. And so I was very careful to step around those things. Of course, my coaching, understanding, and psychology and whatever. And again, to give them this anchoring concept that they could hold on to. And so, yeah, that for me, that's the yumminess. I mean, all the rest is really sexy because who doesn't want to know how to use money properly? But the water, definitely the water.
The water is definitely, it was definitely one of my favorite parts. Aside from the activities, because I was at first like, this is a Workbook? Like, I thought you were going to tell me how to get money. You didn't tell me how I was going to have to put some work in.
Oh, damn. Put your back into it just a little more.
What? And the thing that I love about it, I'm giving these tidbits for, the future readers. It's not just one exercise per chapter. I'm like, how?
You're trying to scare the people off.
But you need it if you want money. if you want to go where the money resides.
Yes, ma'am. Got to do it.
One of the funniest things that happened, though, let's briefly talk about the original title of the book and what.
I remember what it was. Do you remember what it was?
Yes, it was the I'm Not Good with Money book. And I was like, that's not a good affirmation, but I trust her. She's going to go somewhere with this. And, and then you like, we have to change the title.
No. So, okay, hear me out. Remember, I come from a background of marketing. So when you're doing hashtagging, and this is a tip people should write down. What a lot of people don't understand is that you don't hashtag from your perspective. If I'm a coach, it makes no sense hashtagging I coach women. No woman is sitting on Instagram putting in the hashtag I coach women if she's not a coach. Duh. So I would have to put in things like coach for Black women, coach for women. How do I find a life coach? Right? Those are the hashtags that the people looking for coaches would use. So, yes. So again, listen, stick with me, kids. You'll get all kind of life tips. But, but so it was the same thing around the book. I want to reach people who would literally go, I'm really not good with money. I suck at money. Because people say those things. And so if I put that on a book, hashtag, right? They'll be like, wait, hold on, what? But that it also didn't work for me for the same reason, because reading it over and over in terms of us going back and forth, it started depressing the hell out of me. And I was like, do I really want to be interfacing with this thing and having a book on my shelf and in my house or multiple copies saying I'm not, hell, no. So that is why yes, but that was the thinking behind it. It's literally something people who suck at money or they believe that they're not good at money would say.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Like complete sense. That one little tip just blew my mind, because obviously you know what I do. So hashtags for my books and my business are about to completely change. Yes. Okay.
And you can go back and re-hashtag or add to your hashtags on your old post and tell me what happens. Because a lot of people say, I'll start going forward. No, do it retroactively. Go back, make, every few days. You can't do it too often because Instagram gets funny and they block you. But every few days you do like 4 or 5. Just go back through your post and look at the content and figure out what people are saying, what they would verbiage say, and hashtag. Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I ain't even gonna charge you for that.
See, let me tell you something, you guys. Before we even got into this awesome book, we had a few conversations, and when I say I never left empty, ever, and so I'm not easy to deal with on a coach student level, because I'm used to doing the coaching and the publishing and I'm used to it. So, but to have someone, and I'm saying this, and this is still all tied into the book because I want you to understand this woman is phenomenal in pouring in. There are not a lot of people I can say that for me, because I'm used to being the one that's pouring. And so to have someone to get me in my life all the way straight, with everything except cursing me out. And I think I probably have gotten cursed out in that Caribbean accent before too. It is amazing. And so not only is she amazing, not only does she does coaching, not only does she do all that, but this book is absolutely life changing. And I don't particularly know why. Does it look like it's a brick there?
Yes, it's been doing that, and I find it quite interesting. And I said I would ask you afterwards because it's actually green, but that's all right. They'll see when they get it.
When you get the book, you'll see. It's different.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But anyway, it's the Make Me Good with Money Steps book. I'm sorry. Easy steps for taking you to where the money resides.
I have this girlfriend in the UK, and she was one of the earliest people to read it in 2019. And she goes, I see you've decided to go North American. And I said, well, what does that mean? And she's like, well, the whole Where the Money Resides thing. I was like, but everybody needs to go where the money resides. And I mean, everybody is into pop culture. It's fine. It's feel good. I want to be where the money resides. The money should reside in my whole house and my wallet and my purse and my pockets and my 4 bank accounts. Like, hello. Hello. Because I wonder about that as well. Am I dating this book? Is it going to be non-relevant in a few years? You know, no. The money needs to reside where I am, or I need to reside where it is. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, I will definitely say that this book will. Some people hear this and get real religious-y, and you know, I'm spiritual, but I'm coming out of a lot of religious boxes. And I heard someone say once before that books have the power to make you immortal. And I believe that this book will make you and your legacy completely immortal.
Woohoo! Hashtag life goals.
Yes, because I believe from a personal standpoint, if 7 years from now, or 7 years from now, not if, but 7 years from now, my generation, my life, you know, my daughters, my sons, their lives are completely changed because of the work behind this book and the energy behind this book, then what does that look like for the next 7 and the next 7? So you could be living your life somewhere completely, you know, in the motherland or wherever, you know, the world takes you. And yet and still, this is a book that people are going to say, yeah, this changed my life, whether they ever meet you or not, you know, for ages and ages to come. I believe that because I've read it. So
that is the hope. That is, again, freeing one person at a time to free generations. That is literally the intent. You know, and people, I will admit, when people look at me, they probably don't see that, you know, the wild party girl or the child's mother or all the other things. But like, yeah, I have a serious mantle that I've walked around with and I've tried to get rid of it. I will be very honest. I have tried to throw that crap away. I have tried to put it down. I have told God, yo, not this one. I just want to lie on a beach and be cute and smile at men. And God laughed at me. So yeah, there's that. But you know, I mean, I'm just anyway. But yeah, the first few reviews, again, that girlfriend and a few others that came in, I was like, oh my God, wow. I mean, I know I'm good, but wow, this, I knew I've not had one. I mean, from the most ridiculously cynical person I know, even she, not one bad review. And I'm just like, wow. Yeah.
So this is life. This is life. And this book is the epitome. It is the manifestation of Zoe Life CCP, not only birthing literary talents, but changing. And it's kind of the same thing, changing lives one book at a time. I actually tried to publish a book that wasn't life-giving, for lack of better terms. And the Most High was like, no, that's not what this is for. And so
slap it out your hands.
Look, our name, our ISBN is on it, but our name isn't even on it. Like, I couldn't even publish it. I kept hitting publish, and it was like, it literally was like, God was like, look, no, we're not putting Zoe Life Publishing on this. This is not the mandate. This is not the purpose. And so the Make Me Good with Money book is the epitome of what we do at Zoe Life CCP, and that is birthing life, into others. We desire to publish books that will transform lives. And so I thank you. My husband thanks you. The readers, I'm sure, will thank you, but I thank you for bringing us our first financial literacy book that we have had the honors to publish. And I just thank you just for taking us to another level. Let me tell you, honey, I may not be easy to deal with as a client, as a coachee or a mentee or whatever, but let me tell you, I've never had a client that's telling me, yeah, I want this, I don't want that, and this has to go like this. And why did you put that? No, let's do that. Like when I say specific.
but listen.
Worth it.
Listen. You do not get excellence if you don't know what you want. You do not get what you want if you don't know what you want. And we're not out here trying to not get what we want.
Hello.
I am unreasonable. And it's something I have had to own for a long time. I was like that when I was a child. And of course, lives. And my stepmother grew this really successful business. And one of the things about her, and it irked me for a long time, was how bloody unreasonable the woman was. I mean, she would drive workmen crazy. She would drive her staff nuts because she wanted it just how she wanted it. She passed away because she was unreasonable in what she wanted, but not in taking care of herself and setting aside time for herself. She's one of the reasons I go so hard in my VIP life coaching, because it starts with choosing you first.
Yes.
Because I have a real life example in my life of a woman who did not choose her first, massive heart attack at 51. And all the things she was building and all the dreams she had came crashing down, right? And I was very angry for a long time about it. But when I sat down and started deconstructing what I'd learned from her, because yes, I'm that girl, she was unreasonable. She was wonderfully, deliciously, beautifully unreasonable. And that's why she built what she built. And that's why she had that woman traveled to all the corners of the earth and did all these amazing things and created. She was an she was an event designer. She created these amazing fantasy things in ballrooms and on lawns. And I mean, she was, because she wasn't, don't tell me I can't get lights hanging in the middle of the sky with no strings.
Yeah.
Like, make it up. Just, I don't know. Listen, call me when you're ready. Yeah, call me later when you figured it out. And she watched. And the workman is standing and he's grumbling and but you know what? They all loved her because she pushed them in a way that, like, as you said it earlier, their limitations were gone. Yeah. Because find a way to suspend those lights with no strings.
Yeah.
Like, find it. We're wasting time. Why are we having this discussion? I said what I said.
And that's it.
Right? So
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I will say because you knew what you wanted, you have expanded me as, a publisher, but the caliber of this company. And so it's been an honor. It has been a complete honor. And I don't want to continue rambling on and on or whatever, but it has been a complete honor. And I know we're not done. And I can admit that in the beginning, I was very timid because I'm like, am I going to be able to deliver this? So it pushed me, and I like a challenge too. And I don't ever like to feel like I failed, especially because I believe that our clients are given to us from the Most High. And so it has been a journey, but a wonderful journey, a more pleasant journey than the coaching experience for me. But I love the coaching. I'm still here, so it doesn't matter either way. We good. We good. Either way. So don't curse. Okay. We are good. So what I'm going to do, just to wrap up, is there anything else that you want to leave with the audience? Will they know how to connect with you? It's been scrolling across the screen the entire interview. So any last words that you possibly want to deliver?
I think it is necessary to step up. We need to stop walking around in our heads and in our stories and in our feelings and step up. Step up to do the work, to create the life that you actually want, to create a life that you actually love and enjoy, to break that chain, if you have children, for your children, because it wasn't done for you. Don't repeat the cycle and have your children in the same place at your age, wishing that their parents had done it for them. You can do it for them. Step up. Step again. Life is magical. Life is amazing. There's so much out there. There's so much to experience and to have and to be. And money is helpful for that.
Yeah.
Money is really helpful for that. Just saying. And so if you know that, it's not where it should be, where the numbers aren't where they need to be for you to have those things and do those things and be those things, then start the journey, do the work. You're not going to die. I promise you.
You're not going to die. This book is part of the work. I would definitely put this up here with a Think and Grow Rich. Is one of my favorites.
Hey.
I'm telling you, Outwitting the Devil is another one of my favorites. I would put this up there with that because it's not something that you're going to read one time. You have to continue to, and that's why I got my own copy and my husband has his own copy and my kids are probably going to have their own copy, because you have to continue to, let it actually, impart into you, especially if, you've grown up with so many limited beliefs and so many, blocks around money. So that being said, it is officially available. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on our online bookstore. You can find it, just type in the Make Me Good with Money book. Google it, the Make Me Good with Money book, and boom. Okay. KArima can be found at Team VIP Life.
And teamviplife.com as well. And the website is ready. As in a sports team. Yes, finally. Okay. Teamviplife.com.
Cool beans. So with that being said, you have officially been tuned in all this time to yet another author spotlight with Zoe Life CCP. I am your host, Zoe. Thank you once again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And until next time, we're out. Love you guys.